people about MAC and TAC, and yeah, I got it.
So as Lo and Don can tell you, this is a participatory class.
Participatory?
Participatory.
Yeah, you have to stand up and stretch in the middle.
Yep.
Take the
Speaking of
microphone with
standing up and stretching,
Yes, sir.
I have been where y'all have been. If you're uncomfortable for whatever reason sitting in that chair, you can do what the Chief of Staff Bono does. You can get up and kind of walk around to get your butts going. You need to go to the restroom. Restrooms are down the hall. Exits are lit here, blah, blah, blah. I didn't do my emergency stuff.
You did not. I was like, wow, I feel slighted. You tell them where all this stuff is. I just had to wing it and figure it out.
There's a Marine in the room. He knew it. He knew he had to be a little more explicit.
No, sir, you have to draw pictures.
Are they colored? I bet you're missing the red one.
All right, Chris, we're on.
You hear me? Let me know when you're ready to go. Okay, so this afternoon we're going to talk about the passport document. It's a very important document. The Chief of Staff just told me, he says one of the ones that we wish we used every time we had a new applicant come through. We're going to talk about that. First of all, oh no, turn it on, stupid. There we go. First of all, what do we want to know, Lo?
Where we are. Oh, who we are. Last time was where we are. Oh, that. Yes, sorry. Yes.
So I'm going to find out a little bit about you. The people out there in YouTube land are going to be interested too, so we'll have to start with you again.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Lo Sieber, and I am from Flotilla 6-3 up near the Wright Pat Air Force Base, Dayton area. My auxiliary experience is very, very minimal. I joined the auxiliary back in August of 22, got my number in January of 23, and I'm still working on getting basically qualified. So very little experience, and the information I use about the passport is probably going to help me further my auxiliary experience.
Hello, my name is Cecil Stout. I'm Flotilla Commander of 1107 in Nashville, Tennessee. Out of Nashville is where the division is. I've got a few years of experience. I got a little past tense. I was with the Marine Corps for that period of time.
Simplify,
so,
right?
yeah, if we're going to make jokes, it's over here today. Anyway, but I'm here because it's so important to get the new joins to really fully understand what's going on around them. And we don't want to keep any secrets. So this is one of those secrets that I need to learn since I have so many new joins trying to get in.
Yeah, Don Clark. I'm one of the new people 3 months into it. So this is all two things I'm wanting to get from these courses is one, to help me through the process I'm in right now, but also to pass on what I learned here to new members that come into our flotilla to make it easier on them. I am from this area right around here. Thanks.
Yes, I'm James Mayo, 1104 in Nashville, materials person, retired out of the Air Force, been in the Coast Guard Auxiliary for about 10 years, and hopefully this will help me to understand what I could do to help my other members. Thank you.
Good deal. Thank you. Just put it back on the table. Don, quit writing on the hand to me.
All right.
Give me that. We're going to look at this document. We're going to spend a little bit of time on this document right here. You pull this out of you didn't know we were having this thing today, did you?
No, did not.
So he showed up and now he's got his passport document all filled out. Well, most of it filled out. Doing pretty good. But we're going to talk about this document. If you want to see what it looks like when it's going, there's one.
Okay, feel free.
So somewhere, if y'all will give me 1 second. Pardon me.
Should I narrate and say Tommy's walking around the room?
You can be our narrator.
Yeah, you have a good voice for
I know, yeah.
I want to be a TCO, so that's helpful.
it.
You can pass this around. Fold your own, or if you want to keep it flat so you can transport it easily, take it back to your flotilla. I printed those myself, card stock, simple printer, no big deal. That's the document we're going to be talking about. So as I had before, I want to start off with the 5 W's, who, what, where, why, and when, and then a how. So the first thing is what? What is passport? What is that document? As Don can probably attest, that passport document is used to help the new member gather important information about the flotilla. What did you gather about the flotilla from that document, Don?
Well,
Thank you.
a couple, three of the big things. One, it gives me a roadmap of here's some of the things you need to do as a new member. And then the other thing was it helped me identify, it has places for the FSOs to help identify in my flotilla who has what particular positions in it for whatever
Static
category.
document you'd keep forever? Do you think that document might change over time? And,
Well, I did it in pencil so I could change it over time.
and you may want a passport to some different things. On the back, it's got information about
Right.
the activities and the time and a log. So you might want to use that, transfer it to a different form. But it gives you information about the flotilla that you have joined. It plans qualifications and certifications, and it kind of helps you set goals. That you keep track of your activities. It's not a substitute for good information going into Oxdata. But it does let you get kind of a hands-on, something that you can give the auxiliarist. Most of the people coming in today are electronic. They've got apps on their phone. Everything's an app. That is a paper app. Okay? It lets them, until they transfer it electronically, it gives them something to see. More importantly, we talked about mentoring this morning. And as a mentor, you can sit down with the applicant and say, or the new member and say, let's fill some of this out. There's room on there for the mentor's name. We'll go back to some of the information that's on there as well. But it's a pretty cool little document. So it's on the website. I don't know how many of you have been there. So there it is on the website. It is downloadable as a PDF file. Sometimes you have to be careful how it loads and how it formats, but you can play with it or have somebody in the flotilla play with it and get that information. So, by the way, if you're interested in all these links that I'm using, ask for my presentation. All the links are in the presentation, and you're more than welcome to modify them in any way possible. Don's already sent me a request for one, so I'm appreciative of that. So let's look at some of the information that's on there. When you sit down with the new applicant or the new member now, they put their name in, their date, their member ID, because how many times do you have to use that member ID when you're going through the website?
Every time you log in.
Memorize it. We don't have any Marines in here, but Air Force. Do you remember your ID in the Air Force?
We have one Marine,
Who's that?
right here.
Were you a Marine?
Cecil.
Well,
Yes.
what was your weapon number? Do you remember your weapon number? No. You remember your number in the Marine Corps?
What are we talking about?
Did you just use your Social Security number?
Yep.
Okay, well, I had I had to use a different number, so, but member ID, we want that member, once they get that identification number, to almost memorize it, because we're going to use it for just about everything. You get your picture taken in here. My detachment leader had to come to me and say, what's my member number? Dude, don't know your member number? Well, I think I know it. Well, look it up. It's in Oxdata. Their phone, their email, and then the mentor's name. Because this document is going to stay with the member. Might make a copy for the mentor occasionally every time they get together, or at least click on your phone. How to get in touch with your mentor. That's sort of important. How many of you know your flotilla has a member orientation package? Have you ever seen one?
I've not seen one.
You have? So if your flotilla really wants to move this along, they have a packet of information. It's either digital, ours is digital, or it's paper, and it has all of that stuff in there. So you just record the date that they got it. And then you ask, have you read the new member handbook? You have a new member handbook, right?
Correct.
Have you read it? There'll be a quiz.
Yeah, I have.
How many chapters in the new member handbook?
Don't know.
14. Doesn't it?
14.
I think. I just pulled that off the top of my head. Chapter 10 is uniforms. I know that. So. New member reference guide. Have they read that? Member involvement plan, uniform procurement guide. Now that's a real pain right there. How many of you have tried to get uniforms for Coast Guard auxiliaries in the last 6 months? How'd it work out for you?
It was not easy.
Did you finally get through?
Yes, I did. In Coast Guard.
Oh, Don's
Coast
pulling the
Guard-
manual out on me.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yep.
There are a lot of places we can go. I had a member actually yesterday tell me he was going to get the new AWU polo shirt, but he didn't want to put his name on it. I said, well, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Because the new uniform says auxiliaries logo and your name. He said, well, I went to that place you told me to go, but the shipping was too much. I said, not my problem. Settle down. If you're going to wear that uniform, you're going to have to order it from there. I think there's only one outlet for it. So
There is, but what you do is you get with other members. You shoot out an email to like everybody, or send it to your flotilla commander, and they shoot it out to as many people as they can to say, hey, we're gonna put in an order. Then you do shipping to one location, and you bring it to the next flotilla meeting.
Or you put it out to the flotilla, and some of them have extra uniform parts that
Well,
don't
that too.
cost anything.
Yes, sir.
They told me not to get my shoulder boards.
Yep.
Oh, we'll scrounge up some shoulder boards. Well, 3 months later, no shoulder boards, so
kind of important.
ended up buying some, so.
Well, and it's hard because, and now we have yet another uniform that maybe the auxiliaries will want to wear or maybe not, we don't know, but we're now into the AW. I've seen them around here. Have you not seen people wearing them here?
I don't know what they are.
511 tactical dark navy pants, polo shirt, auxiliary logo, and your last name.
Okay, yes, I have seen.
They're
people
out there.
wearing that, yep.
Okay. I've seen ODUs, Coast Guard's
right.
ODUs, okay, operational jet. I've seen those in here today. I really wish we had some cool blue camo ODUs, but you know, they don't let me do uniforms. So it gives you an information here about helping them figure out things they should look at. And during the orientation process, we pulled up a lot of those, and we went through the websites that showed you how to get to those. So if you want to email me, I'll send you that orientation website. It'll have those links in there, where to go to see them. This is one that I just started filling out. We don't actually use a 7029 anymore, so this passport needs a little bit of updating. But those are the 99 mission codes. 99 Alpha, isn't it? 7029, 79 Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. How many hours in each month did you spend in there? I'm the FSOIS, so I approve all the aux data stuff that comes through our flotilla. And you don't have to do it every day or every week or every month. I do mine quarterly. I keep up with my hours. I keep up what I do. I'm going to show you in a minute what the spreadsheet looks like. And then every quarter I sit down, I get me a nice adult beverage, and I start going through aux data, filling out all that information in there. Any training that was completed, what did you do during that month that gives you an idea of what's happening in your life and when it's happening? Did you achieve any qualification? This shows a fingerprint technician. It's a fairly easy qualification. It's fairly important to me as an HR guy. I need somebody to verify citizenship if I can. So we have a member that comes in from a distance away, and they go out and take the application. But unless you're a fingerprint technician or a citizenship verifier, which is the same thing, you can't sign off on it. They have to go to a police station or something. So the more fingerprint technicians I can have out there, the more people I can have signing off on that application. How many events did you attend? I don't ask for what they are. That doesn't ask. Did you go to a mandating training workshop? The first yes would probably be for vessel exams, workshop 2023. The second one might be for instructor workshops 2023. Did you visit the auxiliary website? Number of contacts with your mentor. So that's sort of the information, and I don't know, I didn't look at yours. Do you have any of that documented?
No, I just supposed to use check marks so far, but yeah,
Okay.
following what I have, yeah. A lot of blanks in there.
A lot of blanks. Well, you know, blanks are okay. So it also helps with new member activity planning and tracking. Here, the expectations is on that form. If you look at it, you better get me a copy. Is there a bunch of them
Jump right
left
there on
over?
the table.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Somebody left them right there.
I'm gonna steal a second one.
Sure. Oh, I want you to take them all. Take them back to your flotilla, use them, give them away. Expectations. And this is where I think it should be, if you have the opportunity, it should be personalized for your flotilla or for you, the mentor. What do you want them to demonstrate the ability to do? What do you think there are important things that this member should do? The first one would be go to the national website and find the member training directorate. So you as the mentor can sit down with them during the orientation process. We showed that website this morning, and you can click on there and find the member training website. And once they do it, you or the member can fill out that I've done that. I know how to get to that the training website. Can you find your division website, 8 Eastern? Okay. When you go there, can you find out how to request a boating course? Now, why is it important that an auxiliarist know how to ask for a boating safety course?
Because it's a requirement.
It is for them. What if they've already got it? What if you're already BC?
If they already have it, then you just got to be able to prove it. You got to
Or
be
mentor somebody else?
Or yes.
So if you know how to get to that boating safety course and somebody says to you, well, I'm thinking about taking a boating safety class, maybe you can go to that website and say, here's the link, here's where you can go to request a boating safety course. The more you know about what's on these websites and through here, the more you can find out, the more the auxiliarist knows about these things we've asked them to demonstrate, the better they're going to be able to talk to other auxiliarists or to members of the public that are asking questions. How do you request a vessel safety check? I get those all the time. Well, I'm vessel examiner. I simply write down their name and number and ship and where it is and go to there. But as an auxiliarist, if somebody asks you, are you a VE?
I'm not.
What if somebody asks you, say, Lo, I'm interested in getting a vessel exam. What's your response to them?
Hold on one second. Let me pull it up on my phone and I'll show you.
And you can do that, right?
I can, yes, sir.
So that's something you want to demonstrate. We don't want to say, I don't know. You're in the auxiliary and you don't even know how to get me a vessel exam? The answer can sometimes be, I don't know, but I'll find out. I'll get back to you. You know, That's what?
That's what they taught us in the Army is if you don't know, that's always the right answer. I will find out.
I will find out. Yeah, don't ever say I don't know and just leave it at that. Can you print a list of your flotilla members? Can you go to Aux Directory, Aux Officer, click on your flotilla? Have you never done that?
I have not.
Okay. Have you been an Aux Officer, Aux
But the
Directory?
thing about that is you have to have your number and password to get into it.
Yeah, we're assuming these people are members.
Right.
They may even be BQ. Yeah. So-
Sometimes that's the challenge, is to get the number.
That's what I was just saying.
Till January?
From August to January, yes.
But Rhonda had left. We're getting a new director. He's retiring ours is retiring in, what do you say, 6 weeks? So we got to break in a new director, which is good. But yeah, print out a list of your flotilla members. I have mine on my desk, file cabinet, metal file cabinet. I've got it with a magnet up there. So very quickly I can look over and see who my members are, who my FSOs are. I've got staff officers for every division in Eastern, Western, and Central, so I can track them as well. But, you know, they need to know how to be able to do this. Find the auxiliary manual online. Whew. How many volumes now? 4 volumes?
Just, one book now. Well, yeah, they split it up. Is that the one they split up?
Yeah. You gentlemen have seen this, right? That
No, it's still just
monstrosity?
one- Yeah, it's still just one big giant manual.
That's intimidating right there.
Yeah.
So how do we take the new auxiliarist and say, there's information in here that you need to know, but you're not going to know it all by Sunday afternoon? So in our orientation process, we talked about how do we orient the new member to this animal right here. If they can find it online, the younger people now are pretty good about searching. The thing I love about the online manual is the search feature. So if I'm looking for information about OXOP, I just type it in and it populates, hopefully, populates all the places I go to find out about OXHOP. So the Flotilla Procedures Manual is important for leadership positions. It's also important for staff officers to figure out what they're supposed to be doing in the organization. Did you show them the copy that you have of the list of staff officer positions?
I think so. That was
You are so organized.
yeah.
And
Yeah, so that's, yeah. So I did these for myself.
so on here, it's going to ask in a minute about these positions. But if you go online and find the Flotilla Procedures Manual, you know what we're supposed to be doing as a flotilla. And more importantly, probably what we're not supposed to be doing as a flotilla. And so all of that gets them familiar with your organization through this passport document. Ask them how they're going to acquire a tropical blue uniform. Where do you go? Shoes. My detachment commander 2 weeks ago went down to a little place called Elmo's on Highway 45 in Mississippi and bought his shoes. He searched and he said, they've got the shoes that I need. They're bait shoes. They're really good. And he drove down there and got them for, I don't know, some cheap amount of money. But let them go through the process of figuring out how to navigate all of the stuff that's in our website, and they can do it using the passport document. Where do you go to complete a boating safety course, or does it have on here to complete? Yeah. Have you completed a boating safety course? And so, Don, you would put down there 3/23/23, right?
Right.
Is that your date?
3/18.
3/18/23?
Yeah.
Okay. You wrote it down?
Yeah. Wrote it down.
So you're using the passport document. You ought to be up here teaching this class.
I'll use it in the flotilla when I get back.
Okay? And you can take as many copies and print off all you need. So your plans and goals. It should help you somehow figure out what you're going to do. What are you interested in? What do you want to do? You came in as boat crew thinking that's, might want to do that. And then your eyes are open to all the possibilities. So in this document, it gives the mentor an opportunity to say, look, we got a lot of other things going on. Now this morning during orientation, we looked at all the qualifications that were important to the auxiliary. But there's some others out there that maybe we hadn't thought about. Air Force people. Any of you pilots? I had a pilot's license. Well, I still do. I don't have a updated medical, but I would think that somebody coming in from an aviation standpoint might want to get into Oxair. It's kind of hard and kind of difficult, but then we need to show them that there are other things that they can do. So you ended up in TCO, right?
Well, I'd like to do TCO, but I got to get VQ first.
Okay.
But yes, sir.
So telecommunications. I have a friend of mine in Tennessee that is a photographer. What he wants to do is to do websites and do newsletters and take pictures. He wants to get into public affairs. So here are all these other things, but when I mentioned public affairs, Jonas asked me, so what is that? Okay, so now I'm reeling him in. I'm saying, well, do you do this? Do you do that? He's in college. And I said, can you do websites? Sure I do. Can you put together newsletters? He said, I use 2 or 3 formats to do that. Do you take pictures? He said, I got a great camera. I said, you're my guy. Okay, so we document everything. As a matter of fact, we'll get Stephen to take a picture of this before we leave. He documents all the stuff that we do, and it was just going through the what is available list, not from the passport, but going through it. It gives him something else he can think about. And then maybe he'll tell you there's some other things he'd want to do. What other things would there be?
I can't think of it. There were a lot. We actually had training at Caesars Creek for, I don't know, it was division or director, whatever it was. There was a bunch of us at Caesars Creek, and the whole gist of the entire day was bringing in people who do a bunch of the different things that are the staff
That's a
officer
super
course.
idea.
It was wonderful. That's when I found out I wanted to be a TCO, because that was, they had experts from weather and telecommunications and PA and I can't even remember, vessel examiners and coxswains and all the different things
And this is from
that.
your division?
Yes, sir. I think. Oh, there's nobody here that was there. I think it was the division. It was a lot more people than just our flotilla, so
Okay,
yes, sir.
Probably a division.
I would think so.
So you get division training. That's a super thing to have. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, another thing I went by was a member involvement plan. It lists
list
a
of
lot
them.
of the different opportunities in the auxiliary.
When we clicked on that at orientation, I didn't go through that, I just showed you where it was. That's a great page. It's right there at the big, and that sort of looks like a passport, doesn't it?
Similar, yes.
Yeah, very similar. A lot of the information. We believe in reinventing the wheel at every opportunity here. So, you know, it's a simple document, not quite so simple document, but a lot more information. And I'm going to take that. That's going to be something that I'm going to present to our division. We'll have a qualification day or certification day or something. And we might even take it to one of the universities, University of North Alabama, and bring the seniors in for what's the auxiliary do, all the different FSO positions, things like that.
And I think the gentleman's name is Bob. I don't actually know where he's from, but I think he was in charge of running that. He's a little bit taller than me, a little older than me.
So he's in his 20s.
He was
25.
teaching next door earlier. You're very sweet.
Members.
Sir?
Was it members? Bob and Sally, was Sally his wife that was sitting over here? No, members
I
taught
don't
early in
think
the morning.
so. Maybe it was this morning, I'm not sure.
I don't
If
have
I find
a,
out who he is, I'll let you know.
okay. He's on the schedule somewhere, he's one around here somewhere. Yeah, people like that are good to know, because if he's put together a how-to for getting all those people together at one time, duplicate it. We're all about stealing ideas from other people. I love it, for sure. And are you interested in being a flotilla staff officer? If anyone's interested in moving up in the organization, please, please, please encourage them to take the level 1 leadership classes. It's in the training directorate. We found it this morning. Training directorate, it's on the left-hand side, and it shows the level leaderships. Please take those courses. They're really good courses. And it helps us kind of move into the leadership. And then you can go to Aux Lambs A and B, you can go to Flotilla Leadership course. If we're going to have leaders, we need to have trained leaders. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
So, 2 stripes, Flotilla Commander? Were you a Flotilla Commander?
Correct.
Did you ever have anybody that was incompetent in your flotilla? You don't necessarily have to answer that.
Oh, I answered yes.
Yeah. How do we end up with that? This morning somebody said, I was in that position just because, Vice Flotilla Commander. You remember Roger said, I'm the Vice Flotilla Commander because nobody else will do it.
Yeah, nobody else will do it.
And I did, you want to be Vice Flotilla Commander? Are you a good, turns out he's a good Vice
He's
Flotilla Commander.
great, yes.
But the problem is they have no leadership courses. And we're pretty big on leadership courses. So we need to somehow get them through that.
Like a field commission, right?
Field?
The LT
Yeah.
just got waxed, and you're now the new one.
Once you become, I'm not boat crew, but I am OXOP. I have finally, after I don't know how many iterations, I finally passed all the courses. And I probably don't remember as much as I should have, but it's a daunting kind of course, isn't it?
Very daunting.
I thought if I can get through weather, I can get through anything.
Weather was the nightmare.
The kicker. My was my flotilla commander last year. He's now the division's vice commander. Keith is taught weather this morning. Oh, he's teaching weather all day. I said, you got to help me. I said, I'm just struggling with this. The second time I didn't pass it. And I said, come talk to me about this. And so finally I think the third time, could have been the fourth. I'd been drinking at the time. I passed it. And I thought, whew, it was the last thing I had to do. And so I feel very proud, but man, it's something else. But it's good. I mean, they call it the PhD of auxiliary. I'm not a boat crew. I am how many tons am I now? I forget. Am I up to 200
Well,
yet?
you went from 50 to 100 to, you're probably 250 now.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a Coast Guard licensed captain master, actually 50 ton. Lo was kidding me because at some point in time during the day I referred to myself as 100 ton. And she said, well, you're a fisherman because you went from 50 to...
To 100 in a matter of 5 minutes. The fish was this big.
Anyway, Um,
No, yeah,
and-
it's this big, right?
And
That's
that's gonna bring up the question, what is OXOP? And that gives you the opportunity to talk to them about learning a lot about what goes on in the missions of the flotilla. You've got, and we were talking with Mike this morning, communications, navigation, seamanship, and did I say communications?
There we go.
Weather.
Weather. So I think those are the four biggies. And you have to have 7 points, so there are a lot of things that you can choose, select from the outside. But it's a great opportunity on this small little form to talk about something that might be important down the road. Is the new member going to get involved in that, do you think?
Not immediately.
It's going to take a while, because there are other things you need to do. We talked this morning, orientation. All the things that you need to put together, you'd build the border of the picture first, and then you fill in the blanks. This may be one of the last things that you do, but it does give you an opportunity on this form to talk to them about that. And then it goes into, so I have a question. The wording says Flotilla Vice Commander. But what are the acronyms for the Flotilla Vice Commander?
Well, right there looks like
VFC.
FVC.
VFC. That's the acronym for Vice Flotilla Commander.
Yeah.
But it's actually Flotilla Vice Commander. All through the internet, you're going to find the words Flotilla Vice Commander, parentheses, VFC. So I got a question from one of the, well, actually, Anita Daniel said, why have you got FVC? Because that's what's on the passport. Okay? It's Flotilla Vice Commander. I don't care what you call it, as long as you know that the guy that helps the commander when the commander needs something done. And then it lists a lot of these. Does your flotilla have all these people? Probably.
I'd say yes, probably so, yeah.
So, yeah, the blanks on this one is the ones I think we don't have. So,
When I was a flotilla commander, I wanted to fill in all those blanks, and I'll tell you why. There's a big argument about that in the flotilla meeting, too. Because if I am, let's pick a FSO-MS, Marine Safety. If I don't have somebody who's qualified in marine safety, why would I have someone in that position?
They can't be. I thought you couldn't be an FSO unless you took the training and were qualified for that position.
Don't think that's true.
I could be wrong.
I don't think that's true.
Really?
Could be. I'm not going to argue with you, but I just picked that out because if I have somebody, let's say Susie Smith, if I've got Susie Smith right here, what does Susie Smith get on a regular basis as the FSO-MS? She gets information about marine safety.
Right.
If I don't have anybody in that position, is that information going to come to my flotilla? Probably not, because we're kind of bad about not sending stuff out unless you're an FSO. I'm the FSO HR, Human Resources. My flotilla would not necessarily get a lot of HR stuff if they didn't have a person in my position, because it only comes down to the FSO HR. The only person in my flotilla that can go to the Advanced Marketing System, AAMS, and pull information off of the file is me. I'm the only one that has access to it because I have the HR designation. So sometimes there are designations in here that are important for us to get information flowing back to the flotilla. I don't particularly like it that way, but I didn't invent the world. So you have blanks. So if you don't have enough people of interest to populate this, don't worry about it. You have to have what? Have to have a finance person, and I have to have a materials person. The reason is we have to file 70/62 or whatever it is every January saying these are the materials that we have, here's where they are, here's how much money we got, here's where the money is, and that has to be filed with the director every year. So we have to have a finance officer, we have to have a materials officer. Most of the others are kind of where your interests are. Where does your flotilla want to go? If you're not interested in doing operations, why have an SSO operations? It's up to you whether or not you do or not. So, here's what I fill out on a quarterly basis. These are the codes. Now, there's not every code, because every code is like a gazillion of them.
That's not on the passport.
It's not on the
No,
passport.
no, this is,
Okay, this is, okay.
yeah, this is something different. But I list all the codes that I am most probably going to be doing that month. There's some of them that are unusual. Aux radio, telecommunication, UPV outreach. Most of you won't be doing that. Uninspected passenger vessels are like fishing guides, small guide boats, things like that. I am an unexpected passenger vessel examiner, so I can do that. The outreach program is the hours that I spend going out to fishing guides and saying, please, please, please let us examine your boat and give you the super cool Coast Guard decal, and talking to them about the UPV fishing guide things. So as I go through, I can fill that out each month, and then at the end of the quarter, I'll go in and dump it all into aux data. Saves me a time. So that's kind of my cheat sheet for aux data, using pretty much the how many hours did you do on the back here. They have hours on 7029. This wouldn't be those. Those would be some 7029 would be at the bottom. 7030 old forms would be up above. What training did I complete? What qualifications have I achieved? Whoops. Flotilla meetings. And you said you didn't fill this out with a lot of, but you checked.
Yeah, I use check marks, to show that like visited
Does
an
it
Oxford
matter how
site.
you fill it out?
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it would matter to me either.
Yeah.
Did you complete any training? What'd you do during January? I completed some training. You can either put in there as I did fingerprint technician, or you can just check. Yeah, I did some training.
Have you put in the hours?
No, because I haven't been able to come up with a Form
So now,
7029.
data you haven't been able to do.
No, well, I can't get an aux data until you can do.
Get your
Well,
numbers.
that is
Get your number.
probably a PDF file. I probably did it in Excel, or I'm a Mac guy, so it
Yeah,
could have
don't
come out of
forget to
numbers.
put that on my email.
I'll
and
send you all
mention-
3 of them.
Send me
Yeah.
everything you got that would
I
help
will.
me out.
But
Even
you're,
if it's not these 3 courses.
everything you do before you get a number, you can't identify it, right?
Well, you can. I guess you can write it down and then you go through your.
If you turn in your application on Tuesday, and then Wednesday you start taking FEMA courses, if it were me, I'd be logging in that time.
Right, you
Okay.
can't log it in, but you're
I
somebody.
mean, you can
with-
keep track of
Somebody
it.
can keep track
Somebody
of
at
it, and then
Flotilla
they
can
can put
keep
it in
track of it for
afterwards.
you.
And
Okay.
then after you get your member number, you can assign it. Now, is that absolutely according to page 624? I have no idea.
Right,
But if you're doing training for the auxiliary, even though you haven't gotten all the little check marks
Numbers,
box,
right.
I'm good with your saying I did training.
Okay.
And
that's
I'll
what I
approve it
would-
as an
that's the way it
FSOIS
ought to
every
be,
day.
yeah.
Any training that you do, I would like to see you logged in. So yesterday, we were told, why is this important? Why is keeping track of our hours, why is paying attention to what we do important to us as an auxiliary?
It shows, well, it's for funding too.
Yeah,
Coast Guard comes
money.
back and.
It's all about money.
Yep.
Because the more we do, the more money the auxiliary gets, the more we can do, the more time that we have to come to conferences like this, the more people we can put on orders to bring them in to do instruction and things like that. So it's terribly important for us to log those hours. It also tells us which members are performing and which ones aren't.
Right.
I can look down and I see a bunch of no numbers on here. I think, we probably need to talk to them either about logging their hours or doing some work for us, right?
And doesn't
Okay.
this feed up to the Coast Guard?
Ma'am?
Doesn't this feed up to the active duty Coast Guard?
Yes.
I mean, they,
You
can
heard him,
tell
you heard him,
what we're
you heard him
doing.
give us the numbers yesterday,
I
right?
wasn't here, no, sir.
Oh,
I
I'm
missed
sorry.
that.
I
That's
apologize.
okay.
You missed a great day.
I know, and I could kick myself, but I'll do it next time.
Were you here, Cecil? Did you hear him?
I heard her last night.
Last night, okay, at Fun Night
Talked
too.
about it last night too,
Yeah, the Admiral went through and he said, Admiral Tim said, look, we did this many hours, this many hours, this many hours. Somebody said yesterday in the meeting, we did 4,000 so many vessel exams, and can we do 5,000 this year? So those numbers feed up the chain. I report, aux data reports, everything up the chain, and they send it to whoever's up in the cloud up there, and they keep track of that. Okay, it's been about an hour. Can we take a break?
Yes, sir.
Can we take about a 10, 15 minutes? Let's come back at a quarter after, and then we're going to finish up really fast.
Cool.
Because we got to be out of here by, but they got to flip this room for tonight.
So you guys did mentoring this morning?
We did.
Yep.
Bummer.
Don and I have sat together
Yep.
all day.
All day.
Yes.
We're good friends now.
Did you have a handout for mentoring this morning?
I did.
Can I get one?
I'm about to give it to you. More importantly, if you'll just take my information and email me, text me, call me, I will send you these presentations, which have links.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have another one?
I do, for
Never
sure.
mind, I got one.
I gave you one of each. I gave you orientation as well.
I'm taking mine back.
Take it back.
We got here.
There's two more coming.
Yeah, you got more coming.
And I can't remember who I told what, but which one did you get? You got, here
He
you
doesn't have any.
What I was telling him earlier, it's like a recipe. This orientation process is like a recipe. It doesn't matter what order you give the information to the auxiliarist, as long as they get it all. You know, and if you ask some people around here, they would tell you that risk management training is the first thing everybody ought to do. So I had a big discussion with Duncan, one of my mentors, and I asked, why is that the most important thing? He said, well, risk management permeates everything we do in the organization. I said, well, do you really think it's the first thing that we really need to push, the very first thing? Or can we not wait until after we get basic qualified and all this stuff down there before we go into a lot of this information? So I don't care what order you put it in, as long as we get all the information out to the auxiliaries. And not every flotilla is going to give the same information.
It's like we were talking earlier, when we came in, basically, the old school, the old guard, we didn't have any of this formalized training and make this happen. You know, you just took the orientation book and filled it out and took a little test, and that was the end of the story. Now that with the BQC 2, okay, that's a monster. Okay,
Yes.
but it's a good one. I mean, it's a great course.
It
be able to
is.
do.
It's helpful. And who was it sitting over here said they hadn't taken it? Oh, one of the gentlemen that's in the earlier class, he said he hasn't taken the new one yet. And he'd been in for a long time. So he was kind of having.
Well, you don't have to take it if you're in before 2018.
No, but it's really good background to know what the new
Everybody else
joins
is,
have
I
to
think.
have now and where they're coming from, because if they're
Right.
smarter than you are, that's kind of a humbling moment.
It is
As long
because
as you realize that they're smarter and go to them for questions, that's actually not a bad thing.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's Marine.
I got a question.
Best of the best, right?
That's right. I got to make sure that I'm one
Coast
step
Guard
above everybody.
auxiliary should have this goes sound terrible, SOP, the standard order.
standard operating procedure.
Operating procedure.
Okay.
In other words, everything should be the same for everybody throughout the United States.
You think? Be careful now.
I mean, in the military, like in the
Yeah.
Air Force, if I'm here in CONUS and I go over to the Pacific or the Atlantic side, no matter where I go, it's all going to be the same.
Yeah. And it's going to be the same Zulu time everywhere in the world. So, you know, there are good things about that. It can stifle innovation, because sometimes a flotilla or a division or even a district can come up with doing something a different way than everybody else, and it becomes best practice. But I like to know, and I see it every day because I've got three parts of the district. I see 8 Eastern doing something different than Western Coastal, and I think, why isn't everybody not on the same page? So I take it to your point. You're absolutely right. There should be some things in here that are ironclad. Don't ever change it. It's the same, and there are some. But for
Well,
the
the
most,
other thing too is you want everybody to have all the same basic knowledge so they can go anywhere. But then like right around here, we don't have any coastline. There's no sharks in the Ohio River.
Right.
So we don't need
Really?
to emphasize that part. We need to emphasize stuff, the inland waterways
Right.
kind of thing. So that's, you know,
Well-
we might have differences.
Like the
but-
folks up north that have the, Lake Erie and
Yeah,
all
Great
those
Lakes.
humongous lakes. I mean,
Right.
that's a lot different than
Well, we talked about boat
Indian
crew.
Lake.
Why should a boat crew on the Ohio River have to have the same training as the people that are out there on the
in the
coast?
ocean, yeah.
You know, maybe there's a way to say, my captain's license is inland waters. So my captain's license is not worth a dime once I get past the 2 mile thing down at
Right.
New Orleans. It's just no good down there. So why can't we have an inland waters boat crew? But again, they don't let me set the rules.
But, explanation point, you may deploy to New Orleans during her Katrina, and you're put into the ocean
There
as
you
a
go.
crewman or as a coxswain, and basically you got to be able to deal with it.
They need to
Now,
know.
hold on 1 second. So I go to training as a captain, and I get the same training as those folks down in New Orleans that are gonna be out in the ocean. But I don't go out in the ocean. So
Right.
for 5 years, I'm doing my inland waterway things, it's all good, I'm great.
Right.
And then you send me to deploy for Hurricane Katrina, and now I'm out in the Pacific, and I don't remember anything about that training.
Well, be honest and tell them that so that you
Well,
kind of get a
exactly.
re-up, right? I mean, a
So I would
refresher right
think
there.
that there would be a basic, I mean, everybody knows how to get on the boat and what's leeward and what's starboard and, that kind of stuff. And then have a advanced position for the folks that are actually going out into the ocean. I would think you'd have the basic, but then, just have
But do
a
you
little
have
bit
time
more.
for that workup? See, unlike military that we say, okay, 6 months from now we're going to deploy, all of a sudden now next week they call them and say, hey, a hurricane's hit down here, we need, or we had an oil spill down in the Gulf when we did the oil spills down there.
We need a
Now we
crew.
need crew down there to be able to put boomers in the water.
I still wouldn't wanna have that dude that's just in the water. I don't wanna be part of his crew, her crew, because they haven't been in the big waters
And,
for
and
5
thank
years.
goodness they just give you the opportunity. They don't make you do it.
Right,
That's wonderful.
but some people aren't bright enough to say, oh, no, I am not qualified really for that. I mean, I have a check mark, but I don't know how to do that.
And I totally concur with you on that, that there are people out there that aren't smart enough to say
I'm
that.
off now.
Right. Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm gonna go get some water.
Oh, yeah,
Grab
and
some
actually, I need to go to the
Yeah.
restroom.
Now's the time. We gotta hurry now.
And we're gonna get through 3-ish, I think.
Just sit here and talk for a
Good
while.
conversation. I'm about out of words. I will know. We have the, 8th district vice consul.
handle cold air. If I get to fall asleep on you, I can't help that.
Okay.
I got sleep apnea real bad, and I can just fall asleep anytime. It don't matter.
Yeah, same here, same here. I get, yeah, we can all
I
just do
have no problem with that.
I just thought I'd tell you that.
So Bob Clancy was right there when we needed him, wasn't
Yes, sir.
he? There you go.
And I remembered his name was Bob, but I totally did not remember the last name.
I apologize, I couldn't put it two and two together.
I wasn't giving you much to go on.
You're forgiven. It's okay.
Sir?
it. Just forgive me.
All righty.
Oh,
All those in favor of finishing this up, say aye.
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 You go.
We're done?
So,
Wow, that was quick.
That was good.
you've seen this on the passport, it's on the back on a different format,
Yep.
tracking. Keep track of what the members are doing, what areas they're working in, how many hours they're using, however you want to do it. You need to know so you can say, look, you said you wanted to be a boat crew, but you haven't taken some of this training. It's just a good way of keeping track of it. So we talked about the what, we talked about the who. Who benefits from using passport? Do you benefit from having that document?
I benefit.
So it would be the member, right?
Right.
What about the mentor, the person that's putting it together?
Mentor
Does
can
he
track,
benefit?
he can track what they're doing by looking at the
Yeah,
passport.
gives him a go-by, right?
Yeah.
So it makes it easier for the mentor. He's got something here to work with. What about the flotilla?
Yeah, the flotilla will benefit from it also.
And we're going to talk about how those. What are the benefits to the member? To the mentor, to the flotilla? It's a tangible document. It can either be electronic. It's hard for me to look at things electronically sometimes, but if I can see this document, I can think, wow, here's where I am. I've got the information right here. It's a tangible document for me to keep information. It's a roadmap of my accomplishments. I can look in Oxdata and see when I passed all this stuff, because it'll list all my, what do they call now? AOs and MTs or something. Activity logs and training logs or something. I can look at all that on Oxdata if I can learn how to run the reports. It's a tool to get to know the leadership. And I think that's one of the best things about this is you go up and I would encourage you to tell the person, don't just write down their name. Go up like the chief of staff said, introduce yourself. What is your job? What do you do? Yeah, I was in a fraternity. And in the fraternity, we had to go around and introduce ourselves to all the people in the fraternity and get them to sign off who they were, where their hometown was. And it forced us to meet the people that were in our fraternity. Same thing here. You get to meet the people in the flotilla. Who are you? Where are you from? Who's your mom? It's a list of learning expectations. You may forget at some point in time that when you came in, you were interested in boat crew. Are you still going for boat crew?
oh, no. No, sir.
But you came in wanting to be a boat crew.
I know, because I thought I wanted to be out on the water, but I get seasick. So that's probably not the best place for me. I love talking to people. TCO is right up my alley.
Okay. But you came in wanting to be a boat crew.
I did.
We've expanded your horizons.
I didn't know that's what it was called. I just want to be out on the water.
Okay.
So
Dramamine will help that
it does.
problem.
It does.
Just keep a whole bunch
So
of
you
them.
have other members that are coming in, and this gives you an opportunity. We talked about all the other things of meeting with them, the mentoring and everything, but this lets you say, what about boat crew? Maybe you want to talk about something else that's on here, but it gives you kind of a go-by. It's a guide to future goals.
Yes.
Where do you want to be? Do you want to be Oxford? Well, what is that? Well, let me tell you what it's about. It's probably down the road for you in your future, but let's talk about it now. So it gives you a guide to the future. So that's what the member can do. What about the mentor? Well, it's a document that can be reviewed at each session. Something you can sit down and on here it says how many times have you met with the mentor, number of contacts with the mentor each month. So it lets you, it almost forces you, not really forces you, but it encourages you to sit down on a regular basis with that new member and go through, where are you now? Where did you want to be? Remember where our goal was? You said you were going to complete BQC by February, and here it is, April the 30th. What went wrong? And let's see if we can't correct it. Evaluate
new member will be better educated.
More knowledgeable?
Yep.
That's gotta be a benefit.
That's
Flow
better.
What else?
It also kinda
More of a
gives
rapid pace too, because they're
Keeps them on
gonna
track.
learn, yeah, it keeps them on track, and they're gonna learn a lot quicker, because you're gonna know here's what I need to have, here's what I need to do to get there, and they'll have a roadmap for getting there.
And the flotilla leadership can actually look at that passport. I mean, you can have the members, bring them to the meetings and stuff, and the flotilla membership can see, or the leadership can see how things are tracking. So, not like as a report card type thing, but just to let the
Could be like
member
a
know.
Do we need to have some extra training and something to help?
Right.
Because we got 3 or 4 members need something. What can we do as a flotilla to help?
We can
And
put
a
them
lot
all
of times
together,
as a
yeah.
Flotilla commander, I know when I was flotilla commander, I did not know what everybody in my flotilla was doing. I didn't know what all the training they were going through. I had a pretty good idea of 1 or 2 because I got reports back, but I didn't have a list of 20 people and what they were all doing. Would have had, could have had, should have had.
But it allows us to set goals too, for
Yes.
my long-term plan. I can look at what my members want to work towards, and then I can put that into the flotilla's plan for the next year of what training we're gonna go heavy on.
Exactly. It lets you do some planning and what we need, that's one of the things here. We were just talking to Bob Clancy in the hospitality room of the 3 months, January, February, March, we do very little. So on the last Saturday of each month, they have training for the division. And each year they figure out what training do we need. That's kind of what we're going through here, letting the people say, what training do we need? Well, where these people are going, what their goals are, it's going to tell you what kind of training do we need. If they say, I'm interested in public affairs, this gentleman Jonas I talked to you about, going into public affairs, he wants to publish websites, he wants to publish newspapers, he wants to take pictures. Well, he needs to get into public affairs C-School, C-School 20, something like that. So we need to see if we can't get him orders to go to a C-School where he can really ramp it up and bring back some information to us. So we got a record of our members' accomplishment, a record of their activity. Again, it's not a substitute for Oxstat. It's Oxstat if you run the reports right, which I can't yet. Getting there. A record of their activity, a record of their goals. It makes it easier to recruit mentors. If I tell you, Lo, I want you to go out there and mentor this person and say you're TCO, where do I start? Well, Lo, maybe
There we go,
this
right
will
here.
get you going, okay? And there's this mentoring website or slide that you can look at, this program. Why don't you look at this one that I just went through, and maybe we can recruit you to be a mentor, but we're going to make it easy for you. This document's going to help you out. So is that a benefit to the flotilla?
Oh, yeah,
Recruiting
definitely.
mentors? Because that's a scary thing. You're outgoing. Not everybody is. So getting someone to say, I'd like to be a mentor, may be difficult. But
The reason he mentions that is because during the mentor class, he says, does a mentor need to be identified? Assigned, yeah. I said, no, if you got a question, you just go ask somebody. I know that Cecil's great at TCO, so I ask him. I know that, wow, I wrote it down, I can't remember your name.
Mayo.
Mayo. No, that's not your first name. But
James.
yes, sir.
James.
He's great at Aux data too, so I go to you for that. But like he said, not everybody would be willing to just call somebody up and say, hey, teach me this.
that was my question.
And inherently, that's been a problem with the auxiliary, is that it's like people keep secrets, okay? And you don't know what I know. So basically, if we're not communicating, then
I don't know to ask
you don't
you,
know how to
right.
ask me or anything else like that. So this is an open book right there as far as the
Definitely.
commander goes and as the mentors go. But the mentoring program, the benefits that I've seen from it is I'm building a better auxiliarist by doing a mentoring program than I ever got myself. Instead, I just kind of wandered through the woods and ran into trees and said, okay, now I know how it works.
I looked into a past division commander that had a boat in my marina, and he said, Tommy, come on over anytime, you got a question. Man, I was on that boat with my cup of coffee, most mornings I had 3, I go, Gary, I don't know what are they talking about? So, it's not a formal, an informal mentor. But when I asked the question, do mentors need to be assigned, Lo popped up at me and said, no. And I went, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that issue.
talking about what I'm doing physically as far as making sure the
No,
boat is safe?
Who do you tell you're assigning yourself to duty?
Oh, I make sure that there is another auxiliarist who knows that I'm out there doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
You assign yourself to duty,
I do.
right? You assign yourself to a mentor.
A mentor, yep.
You just come up and say, I'm low, you're gonna mentor me. You may not know it yet.
Well, I would ask them, but yes, they would say yes.
And people are
You
afraid of
actually
the
very
word.
persuasive. Excuse me?
People are afraid of that word, mentor, because now they feel like they have a responsibility to her.
They
Or
do have a responsibility. We talked about that, the responsibilities of a mentor. You know, you have to have patience, you have to have knowledge, you have to have time, all those things that I went through. And not everybody's a mentor. Not everybody's gonna make it. So we need to be careful who we charge out there. My feelings, my opinion, that document gives a consistent approach to the process of mentoring.
It does.
It gives us a go-by. You know, and there are a lot of other things that we can use. There's a mentoring guide in the T Directorate that's very good, but it's kind of academic, if I could put it, an academic mentoring document rather than what I would think is a practical mentoring document. Orienting the new auxiliaries, it emphasizes the necessity of good contemporaneous record keeping. If there's anything we
What's
need
that
to do-
$5 word mean?
Contemporaneous right now, do it. I learned that when my tax attorney said, if I'm gonna use my car in business, I need to keep a contemporaneous record of my mileage. Means, write it down the minute you do it, so you don't forget. So, where have we seen this document? On the website? It's most easily used in printed form. I think one day there's gonna be an app for this.
Right
but-
around the corner.
Yeah. You know, because the people that are coming in now, those people that are in that book that I talk to on a regular basis want immediacy. They want to see it, they want to touch it, they're oriented to that. We're talking earlier about putting QR codes on business cards. Because these kids coming in are kids. Yeah, they're kids. 75, they're kids to me. You may under 50, they're kids. They're used to that they're just used to clicking on something. Well, I need information. For example, Tim Scoggins from Knoxville took us to the Ark yesterday, which is amazing place.
Amazing.
So you've been through it. There are people with their camera walking up to the exhibit, there's a QR code, and they go click. And they walk up to the next exhibit, the QR code, and they go click. And they're downloading all the,
See, it didn't have QR codes last time I was here, so.
they're on some of them, I saw them.
I remember seeing them,
Amazing.
since they don't
Amazing.
do them.
Okay, keep an updated copy of, do you have a mentor listed on there, by the way?
I do not,
You did that on your own?
yeah.
You're to be congratulated, sir. But if you had a mentor on there, would you think, if I were your mentor, would you think it would behoove me to, when we meet, say, hey, let me get a real quick picture of that?
Yeah, like
Roger,
the
you're
meeting
not gonna
took-
participate, get out. Can we help you, what you need, man?
I was just looking for Steven.
He hasn't been in here for this session.
I know, yeah, he comes to his first class and then just snuffs us the rest of the time.
No, not Roger, Stephen.
You abandoned us. Where you been?
I just got out of emergency management class.
Okay. You learn anything?
I did actually.
Good. Something you can take back?
Yes. So I'm getting ready to take 300 and 400. And then I just found out there's a PQS I have to complete now.
Good luck finding somebody that can do it. Are you gonna take it through the auxiliary or some?
Auxiliary. Yeah.
Some other thing you
But I've
need
got a
to-
good list of people that I can contact.
Mayo's looking like you should contact him. He's smiling and grinning like that's his.
Oh, there's some other people you'll have to figure out and contact.
Yeah. So it sounds like we can do it all across the United States for any Coast
Oh,
Guard.
wow, yeah,
We can do it by phone if we need to. So how did the mentorship go?
great.
Went pretty good.
Awesome. It's a great program.
We're talking about this little document. Have you seen this?
Yep, I actually use this.
Do you?
Yep, I use that with my mentees. Yep.
Roger's the one we were talking about being the voluntold to be the vice commander.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have your camera with you? If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to get a picture of this, during this presentation. And I don't care about their face, they can look back if they want, but I'd like the screen and.
Come on, Roger, you should be in here.
Come on, Roger, you're in a third of them.
Roger?
Don't be afraid.
Come on now. He's in a third of the classes.
Right.
Can I have an
Well,
8
yeah,
by
and
10
it-
glossy on that?
You did it upside down, though. The pictures are
Oh,
upside
actually, he's
down.
not done. He's got to get up tall. He's going to stand on a chair.
He's got to get up tall.
Oh, so
That was the second
when you
class.
learn how to take photography the Coast Guard auxiliary way, that's what you become.
Okay.
Hey, do you want my
Hey,
arms
Steve.
crossed like that?
Watch your knees and see you before you walk out again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're not chimping, are you? I took a
Thank you, Roger.
photography class after the mentoring class.
chimping.
Eyes wide
No
open.
chimping.
So, where were we? Oh, we were trying to finish.
We were done. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, one of the first things the member needs to cover should be the passport. I want to talk a little bit, just a little bit about parallel learning, because one of the things that I don't like is you do A, do B, do C, do what comes next, D, and you have to do them in that order, and you can't do anything else while you're doing A and B and C and D. That's not true. There's so many times we get involved with going down this track that we forget there's another track over here. Maybe we could do core training and BQC at the same time. Maybe we could do some boat crew training and do something else at the same time. We don't have to focus on just one training row. And I get so many times, I look at the membership training, FSO, and they think, well, we're gonna do this. I said, what, can we do something else with it? Like you're talking about Bob Clancy, he has several things going on parallel during those weekends. And you can do more than one thing at a time. So, you do parallel learning. We use as one of the main tools we have to inform, educate, motivate new members. It has a limited shelf life. More formal reporting is going to come on later as you get into Oxdata. This form's going to be filled out, and then pretty soon this 7029 on top is going to turn into that spreadsheet that I showed a little bit earlier, where all of the possibilities of mission and mission codes. And they're replacing, they're adding a new mission code. What did it tell me it was? Oh, boat crews that are not on auxiliary vessels, but boat crews that are on Coast Guard vessels are now, sometime in the future, going to get a code where they can get credit for that as their time on water. Remember him saying that?
Wow.
It's a wonderful opportunity for people who don't necessarily have a flotilla, but they're near a Coast Guard station and they're serving as a boat crew member on that Coast Guard station. They can record those hours. They're going to come out with a new code.
Okay.
Yay. And they're going to be able to use that.
What flotilla are you, 6 what?
Oh, 6'3".
So, we were going to talk about how you're going to use it. And as Roger came in, he uses it with his new mentors. I like passing it out to people to try to mentor new members. So, it's a nice little document. Could it use some updating? Probably. You know, could you figure out a way to make it more usable for you? Sure. Now, back to your statement. Maybe we should put this out for everybody in the Coast Guard across the country, but maybe we should let you make it your own. Maybe there's something you could tweak a little bit on here and make it a better document for your flotilla, or for you, and your mentor.
Just add a couple of blank lines down at the bottom, so they could add things to it.
Yeah. Or just change the document any way you want to. It's a tool. Sure. So, we spent a long time today going through mentoring and orientation and then this passport document. This morning, I told the story of going to Breckenridge to go fishing. And my wife and I showed up. We had already arranged for an outfitter to give us everything we needed. The clothes, the bait, holes, everything, put us in the boat, and we're going to do a day trip. I asked if we couldn't just stop in the middle of the day, catch fish in the morning, and fry them up for lunch. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
I was told that I couldn't do that because Colorado on this river is a catch and release state. I'd made the comment, I'm from Tennessee, it's a catch and eat state. And then I thought about the auxiliary. We bring these people in, and so many of them leave because we haven't mentored them. We haven't given them what they want. We haven't found out their hot button. We haven't taken them through a logical presentation of how they can meet their goals joining the organization. So my heartfelt desire is that we move away from catch and release organization in the past and get to an organization where people actually want to stay, they want to participate, and they want to grow. Okay, that's so important, serving their community. That book over there, with about 1,600 people in it now, is full of people. The first question that I ask them is, what attracted you to our auxiliary? And the response is overwhelmingly, I want to do something to serve my community or serve my country. I want to serve. And so that's telling me they have some education, some knowledge, some expertise they want to share. So I like the opportunity to talk to them about, well, how do you want to serve your community? What do you want to do? I want to be better. You know, I got time now. I want to do something. I want to be out there. They've got a hot button. It's like a fish on the line. You've already got them. Reel them in, and once you get them reel them in, you got to clean them. You know, you got to flay them. You got to do everything. But first of all, we got to get them in the organization. Okay? I've used up all the words I know. So I'm open to questions, suggestions, comments.
Can I get your business card?
Yes.
Well, thank you for that class. That was a good class.
Yes.
Well, thank you for attending. I appreciate it. It was relatively brief, because when she assigned me the three topics, and I had to write my own script to do my own PowerPoint, I thought, well, passport at the end would be something that maybe we just kind of ease through, because there's not a lot there. We talked for an hour and a half about that.
Yeah, but that's
Hey, what's
a
up?
pretty good tool. Oh, speaking of,
Hey, do you have any more of these? Is there a whole bunch more of these left?
He had them. I have two.
That's
you been
okay, I
doing?
got some right here, thank you.
Chris, you want to introduce yourself to these people?
Yes, sir. I'll do that.
Okay, Chris. what is-
My name is Chris Jones. I'm from Division 11. I'm the media pass for Division 11. And been in the auxiliary 10 years now. And so it's been a lot of fun. You'd be lost when you first get in. You don't know what to do. It's all part of it. And you depend on each other. And that's a big deal. I know James and I know Cecil. They're in our division. So, yeah, you'll be lost. That's how it goes. But the thing about it is, you won't be lost long because you have a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge. And I still today depend on the guys with knowledge. Vets and everything that we have, like Cecil and James as well. Marines and Air Force. And so the
Three Air
knowledge
Force,
is-
one Marine, one Army.
One Army, see, I know that, see? So here we go.
Learning every day, yep.
Hoorah.
Yeah, I think that's important. And what else I'm doing? ADSO DB for diversity. DSO for diversity. FSO, that's a safety check.
I'm sorry, what's
UPV.
DSO versus FSO?
Oh, there we go. So those are TLAs and FLAs, right?
Yes, no, those are both TLAs.
Three-letter acronyms and four-letter acronyms.
That's okay.
Come on, okay, so we've been talking about that.
So
Tell me what it-
we have a division staff officer.
Oh, okay, that's the one I didn't know. Yeah,
DSO.
DSO, and the FSO is the flotilla staff officer.
Division staff officer is
Division staff officer is.
SO.
SO staff officer. DSO is digital staff officer. FSO is flotilla staff officer. And you got I got some, UPVs is uninspected passenger vessel.
Okay.
That also.
you got a bunch. So see,
So we got,
It-
we're
it-
really busy.
all these acronyms just building in your head, and why is it the DSO at the division and the SO at the district? I don't know, but it took me a year to straighten out DSO.
Well, that makes sense, because if you look at hierarchy, and at least in the Air Force, the two-digit is above the three-digit. No, actually, I'm
Oh,
backwards.
you're backwards.
I'm backwards. Yeah, you're right, that is wrong.
See?
Oh,
Yeah, I
It
did
confuses
exactly.
everybody.
I
Yeah.
knew exactly what happened to me when we first got in. It was all acronyms. So me and Brad knew some of it, the other stuff I
Yeah, he's got his thing over there. He's got it laminated.
So what I did, there's about a million pages, right? So what I did, I got two different pages out. The most common, that's the most common ones. That, and look at the backside, flip it.
I call it the BS sheet.
Yeah, flip it over, flip it around. Yeah.
Thank you. Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Are you a branch chief?
Yep, media pass, vision matrix.
Are you done?
Yes.
I'm about to be done.
Okay,
If you
you're
have any questions, comments, there's my card up there. If you don't have, if you want another one, I think I got a couple left. Text me, call me, email me, get in touch with me. If you want any of these slide presentations, they're yours. They're worth exactly what you pay for them, which is nothing. You can make them work for you. You know, however, whatever I know that you've got, I'll be glad to give it to you. Pick my brain before it's gone.
Florence, Alabama.
Did you, would you like this back? I took a picture of it and
No, I've got.
No, I will lose this. It does me no good. This way you can give it to someone else. I took a picture of it, so I have it.
Find somebody
But
on the
I'll-
elevator.
Yes, sir.
So I think we're wrapping up, Steve.